What's going on, YouTube? I am the GOAT. I'm joined here by
IBM coming at you.
Mason AJ.
And we are the Comic Book Aficionados here with another episode for you guys. Today we're talking about some books that are off of the beaten path of DC and Marvel. These are little, the independent books and kind of lesser known. And these are some great award-winning books that we highly recommend to you. Best part about this, they're more adult, and if you're not into the whole capes thing, they tend to be more realistic and grittier, more action-adventure for some of them. We'll get into that later. First things first, we're going to talk about Brian Azzarello's 100 Bullets.
Right.
This was a gritty crime noir with some great themes going on.
It was kind of like a combination of like Sin City and
Law and Order.
Yeah,
Law and Order.
You saw a lot of mystery.
And Lost.
And it was kind of like Lost with all the mystery.
Right.
There's some mysticism in it. I was really...
The introduction to the different characters.
Okay.
Oh, and the characters are just classic. From the psychopath Lano to Dizzy Cordova, who's fallen into this mysterious world where these 13 rich families...
I like the fact that the writer put in the language used in that city.
Like,
he put in all the slang, so...
It's a really real book. It was good.
It wasn't so much that just the slang. He put in like the accents and different dialects. It translates directly into writing. Where most comic books, they kind of just like you're supposed to imagine and imply.
And you kind of always get that sense with other comics, like, haha, I'm a hero.
And there were no heroes or bad guys or good guys.
It was just real people.
It was the world.
Great mysterious concepts like this briefcase that shows up to you, and you've got this full file on who have wronged you, and these 100 untraceable bullets that cannot be traced to you in any way, shape, or form.
And if they happen to end up at any investigation, the investigation just stops.
Yeah,
it wasn't showing. Like
it's just an incredible concept, but it's in this world that you delve deeper and deeper into.
And the crazy part was nothing was asked.
No, it just
like
showed up.
They just show up. And nothing is ever asked. Like, it's not like, hey, I'll give this to you for $1 million or anything.
It's just handed to you.
It just happens.
And even the nature of like who you're supposed to go after, it's almost always a revenge plot. This person has wronged you or your family like that. But sometimes it's not like a straight lace. Oh, your wife cheated on you, go after your wife's husband or new boyfriend. It's more like there's one particular character, very no name person. He was down out. He was on the streets. Like that, and the character showed up and gave him the briefcase, and in the briefcase was the CEO of another company which happened to have bought his company, which happened to
downsize his store.
It took him straight to the source of all his misery. It was a very interesting concept, but that's not the main idea of the book. I mean, there's so many characters and side plots to just keep you enthralled the entire time. You want to get deeper into this world and find out what's going on. You want to find out the backstories on these characters. I was amazed.
Because you could tell whenever they bring the case, there was obviously something else behind it. You don't just happen to get a case of a gun and 100 untraceable bullets. I mean, because I know my first question would be like, no, I don't know about that.
But each and every person, no matter how insignificant, was somehow tied to like some massive bigger plot. And even if they were only a piece of the puzzle, that piece of the puzzle connects to this, not connected to that, and that led to like breadcrumbs. It kept you wanting to get more.
And even if you were to Google it right now, you're going to see these amazing covers by Eduardo Risso. These really propel the book past anything else that it could be. These covers alone are amazing. I know we had a bunch of these T-shirts made for ourselves for our private collection. I mean, these are amazing.
They were pieces of art.
These are pieces of art, and just the covers alone. And then the same artist did the books also, and they were just so visual and with the writing.
But also to go hand in hand with the writing, to go hand in hand with the art is the writing, which was made by Brian, Azzarello, who also worked on the Hellblazer series, like that. Where, in case you don't quite know about Hellblazer, that's John Constantine
from the Constantine, that terrible movie with
Keanu Reeves.
Which a lot of people do like, but if you really like it, check out that book. And again, check out this one if you want to delve deeper into the...
Especially if you're more into the adult genres and, you really want like, oh, I want mystery. And I want to see things that relate to this world in comic books. Especially these brought out
and this
more
was
things.
Gritty crime noir. It's not really capes or anything, even though there's some characters in here that are the more Agent Cool, like Jason Bourne suit, but it's nothing like so out of the way where I was just, if you're a person who's not into the capes thing, it would pull you out of it. So next book up, Why the Last Man Standing, winner of 5 Eisner Awards, which in comic books that is a huge award just for writing. Brian K Vaughn, who was known for The Runaways, did this one. it's remarkable. Let's get into the story.
I mean, it was a post-apocalyptic drama where you saw that the male in every mammalian species was just wiped out, was gone.
Right.
And there just happened to be this one guy
and his pet monkey,
and his pet monkey,
who
were both dudes.
Awesome. Yeah, they were the last two dudes on Earth.
When the whole thing went down, they were like, so what just happened?
So he's returned to this world where it's all women. And a lot of people say if women ran the world, it would be more peaceful. But no, the world went to hell. And it's not anything against the women. It was done in a very tasteful way and realistic way.
We got to see how not only society broke down, because it wasn't just the human, which is something that usually happens, but it was the animals as well. So you got to see how the entire world just shifted.
It was the male half of the mammal population.
It was just wiped.
It was a strange virus, and at the core of the story, which was great and it tied it all together, was this love story. The main character, Yorick Brown, who again was off planet at the time, he comes back into this just hell.
Yeah, destroyed.
He is looking for his girlfriend, and it's about, I think it's like 60 issues deep, and it is one of the best stories I've ever read. It's actually awesomely enough in works to be a movie right now. There's names attached to it as far as production and directing. I can't wait for it. I'd rather have a series
than a movie because it feels like it'd be too much to cram into a movie.
Not a full TV show or anything like that, but maybe like a small miniseries,
like an HBO.
But also another prominent book that's also in works to be a film is The Boys.
The Boys. Okay,
yes.
Now that's the one we're ending it up with. This is one of our favorites.
This is all of our favorites.
This went about 74 issues, and excuse me, let me go back. 100 Bullets went for 100 issues, and it had one epilogue. So 101 issues shouldn't be too hard to pick up.
No.
But The Boys, Garth Ennis, who you might know as the writer of Preacher,
and
one of my favorite writers.
Really just gritty.
That's what he does, is that realistic, just violent writing. He's legendary for his run on The Punisher.
He was like, if I put capes in the world, this is probably what they would do.
Yeah, that's what
and
The
this
Boys
is how
is.
the world would handle it.
So pretty much, the superheroes, there's superheroes in this world, but it's kind of like an alternate take on them, because they're not just the do-gooders that we normally see. They're a little bit more real and more jazzy, but also imagine you have this great power and you get everything you want. It kind of will go to your head.
They were celebrities.
Pretty much.
It was sex, drugs, and rock and roll for them, and it's really done in the almost perverted way. And it was very Hollywood, like to have these stars that you know in their private life are doing these messed up things.
Right.
It's done the same things except with superheroes, and they make these copies of our favorites.
The Seven.
The Seven is pretty much the Justice League.
The Human was the X-Men.
And you look at it, it's like, could you imagine just giving a normal person Superman's powers and just being like, yeah, you can do whatever you want and no one dislikes you? I mean,
and you became loved by all the media, and there's no way to track it to you.
He was there, he was floating, he was like, I am the Homelander.
So you have this group of people who in some way or another have been wronged by this company who's making these superheroes. And they handle, when superheroes get out of line, they come in and they smack them up and it's just gritty.
With extreme pressure. So the storyline goes just so much more deeper than that, because behind the scenes it's the government and the private corporations. The private corporations are the ones who are pretty much making these heroes, and the government, while it respects what they can do, does not want them interfering in their affairs.
The government was the government. It had to regulate,
and it's making them cheap and just throwing them out there.
And The Boys is a CIA group that all they do is keep heroes alive. So it's like, whoa, you think you're untouchable?
It was like, we come in with trench coats, but then we don't use guns. We got super strength, super speed. We were gonna smash you.
And it's cool to see this weird underbelly behind the superheroes, because they very much in the public eye. And they kind of perceive it as what we would see with comic books is they're there and they're truth and they're justice. But you get behind that and they're perverts and they're mean and they're some of them are just psychotic. They're just douchebags,
masochist douches, like anything that you could think of that was just like, wow, this is what's wrong with humanity. They were pretty much that.
Because even Wonder Woman had a drinking problem. Like, true enough, she saved babies like that, but the second she was on camera,
she was
Jack Daniels.
That was it. Yeah, she was
like cruel.
I got my
she had man slaves. Yeah, it was. It was
my drugs to do. You know,
it was this is a very much an adult comic. I'd like to tell you that, but it was just really cool. I never saw an issue or storyline where I just didn't care.
What was crazy was, even when you got the heroes who were good heroes, they got corrupted. Right. All the mainstream heroes.
Yeah.
Like, so, it was just...
Some people went in there with some good intentions.
Yeah.
And just,
they truly wanted to be like a Superman. They were looking like, yeah, I can uphold peace and I can do this.
And I can work with charities. And he was like, well, you can work with charities, or you could take this $100 million and do nothing but drugs and alcohol. Have fun with that.
The series ran for what, a good
76 issues.
76 issues, and it had 3 separate side stories. They were 5 issues each.
6 issues.
Which was Herogasm,
Highway Laddie,
which is my favorite,
and Butcher Baker, Candlestick Maker.
These were awesome stories. They each give a little insight on the characters. Or the awesome side stories. Herogasm. Just give
a fair warning for us.
Yeah, give a fair warning to that one. Very much an adult book, and just like the others. And we've done them in the order of date, really. Brian Azzarello's 100 Bullets that came out around 1999. It's 100 issues deep. And with 1 epilogue, so 101 issues.
Yeah, 101.
Why the Last Man went for 60 issues, and you can find all the collection. Award-winning series, so it shouldn't be hard at all to find it out. It started in 2002. And the Boys, which just ended not too long ago.
Just ended last year.
Started in 2006.
And ended in 2012.
So the newer collections or the newer single issues you can probably find in the comic book store, comicbookstore.com. But the older ones you can definitely find the collection. I've seen them in bookstores and things like that. These are very much adult reads, and we kind of went in order of adult themes too. Yeah. Because Why the Last Man, when you're dealing with a post-apocalyptic world of one gender, it gets kind of sexual in a weird way. But it was so well written. Again, it earned those 5 awards.
It really did, and you just got to see how perverse both sexes could be. So, because they always go, men do this, men do that, and then you're looking like, yeah, but that chick in that story, she scared me.
Let's not tell them too much.
Right. But we would love to hear what you guys have to say. Please comment down below, especially if you read these books already. We want to hear what you have to say. And are there any books that fall under this category that you might know of that we didn't mention? We would also love to check those out. That's about it for this week.
This is IBM, the GOAT, and Mason AJ from Comic Book Aficionados, showing our knowledge. Shazam!
Guess we'll see you guys next week.
Why am I white?